Okay, hello friends and followers. So I think I finally got the hang of this transmitter, and I'm ashamed to say that on 10 meters I was probably tuning it wrong. There may have been a parasitic, there may not have been, I'm not sure now. But you do have to tune it a certain way on 10 meters to avoid parasitics. And what that means is on 10 meters, you start with the tune control all the way counterclockwise and go that way. And your first peak you get is a valid peak. If you have the drive control down and you start looking for a peak, you'll pick up something parasitic. So I couldn't really cure that problem, whatever it was. Maybe it's just how the radio works, the transmitter. Anyway, let's go through now a demo of it again. I'm gonna take it through its paces. I'm on 80 meters now, and we'll get going. I'm on CW mode here, and 80 meters. Let's transmit. So in 80 meters here, I'm just gonna go for a peak. No peak, give it some drive. And no peak, more drive, okay. So the drive control didn't work at all this morning, and that was basically a 68K resistor that went to 83K. I finally figured I had to put a 48K I think I used in there, because you want to get 9 volts on pin 1 of this tube here, this IF amp. They use grid bias to cut off this tube, and when this tube is cut off and has negative 9 volts on the grid, it will quit supplying RF to the rest of the transmitter, and then you can limit the power that way. So what was happening was this tube here, this OB2 regulator, will only regulate when the transmitter's keyed, and I guess that makes sense. So you'll see that when I key it, it'll flash purple very faintly. Not sure how good that tube is, but anyway, it lights up. So it'll do its magic on transmit and regulate it at around, I think it's 148 volts. So anyway, when that was lit during transmit, I made sure that I got minus 9 volts at maximum cutoff. So at maximum counterclockwise at drive, I wanted 9 volts on pin 1. Didn't have that, so corrected that by changing the voltage divider resistor from 68K down to like 48K. That fixed that. And from then on, things seem more rational. So on 80 meters here, let's transmit. A little more drive here, go for a peak. And a little more drive. Let's look at our meter here. Okay, so power meter. And we can just tune it for a peak here. Here's a peak. And the plate should dip a little bit. And it does slightly. If you give it more gain here, the plate might, no, it doesn't dip much, but might even need to be neutralized again. But anyway, it's close enough for hand grenades here. So I just peak it for output power. And now we can nail it up to full drive. See what happens on 80 meters. It's good for about almost 150 watts, I think, which is really cool on 80 meters. Maybe 135 watts. Okay. 40 meters, I gotta fix that. It's broken. We can try it, but I think it's dead. Let's see, 40 meters, click. I think the oscillator's out or something on it. Let's see if we can get it to go. Here's 40, transmit, give it drive. Oh, it's working, look at that. Let's peak it for power. There we go. No load. So 40 is up and running. Let's nail it. Okay, so on 40 we can get a lot of power out. Let's see. On 40 we'll get 125 watts out. I'm happy with that. Okay, 20 meters. Let's give it some drive. Peak it. Okay. Get some power out that way. There we go. Okay, there's 20 meters. We'll peak it again. Let's nail it. On 20, we're getting out, what? 100 watts or so. It's not bad. 125 watts. That's good for 20. I'll take 125. Okay. 15 I think is weaker. 15 meters. Transmit. Let's see, am I on 15 here? Yeah, it's been a long day. 20.9, yeah, that's correct. Okay, here's the drive. Let's peak this guy. There's the peak. Dip it. Which gives us a peak here. That peaks on 20 pretty much. Okay, let's give it some drive. $75 watts. It's not so good. Let's see. Does 15 meters want some load? Let's try some load. Give it some drive. Yeah, it likes that. A little more load. Okay, let's max it. Let's see what we can get on 15 here. 100 watts. It's probably reasonable. I could give it a little tweak there and see if we can peak it up a little bit. Looking for my tweaker. Okay, so 15 meters. Let's see if we can tweak it a bit. Keep it about there. Let's see if we can do some tweaking in here for 15. The mixer, I don't want to do the oscillator. There's 15 right there. I'm in the middle of the band. A little bit more. A tad more. A driver for 15. For the mixer. Yeah, I had it pretty good, didn't I? I think that's all she's gonna do, driver. That's all she's gonna do. That just shows you my tuning methodology was pretty good. Okay, so let's max it out. 100 watts, maybe 105 now. A little bit of load here. Let's see. Let's load it. What do we get? 100 watts, that's enough. Okay, now, the troublesome bands. I've learned that to run 10 meters on this thing, I'm kind of used to Drake's where you would tune the drive right in the middle. On this thing, for 10 meters, you want to start low. So the band is so large and vast, as my brother says. Let's go here to 10 meters. There's 3 different 10 meter bands here. Okay, so that one starts around 28. And say I wanted to transmit on 28, I would dial it down here. And so this is probably as bad as it gets. I'm right smack on 28. And I want to simply see how much I get out at this band edge. So transmit, and I know I want to... Now, the way this works is if you have drive on and you're getting any output that's real, or drive is all the way down and you're getting some output, you're peaked wrong. So if you're scanning around this area for any kind of a peak, you don't do that on 10 meters, never. So if you get a peak there, in fact, I can show you how bad this is. So if I transmit now and my drive is all the way down, okay, so there's no drive. I'll still get a peak in through here. See that peak? And that's a false peak. That's some kind of crap or harmonic or something, but can't get it out of there. Don't care about it. The proper way to tune it, when I was all wrong about this, the proper way to tune it is start off down here, give it a good bit of drive, and then begin to tune it. Transmit, whoa, a lot of drive. Okay, so you want to start low and peak it, and it's all the way down. So that's all you're going to get. Let's do a dip here, get some power out. There's some power, not much. Loads on, pretty good there. Okay, let's get some power out. What am I doing here? A little more drive, lost everything. Okay, so why did I do that? More drive, okay, there we go. Let's peak the power. And how much are we gonna get on a low frequency here? 28.0. Oh, that's pretty good. So I wanna take that. If we can get almost 100 watts, 90 watts or so on 10 meters, that's fine. That's as good as it's probably gonna get on 28. So now if we coast this thing up to the next band, let's see how it works there. So one click here, and we're going to need to crank the drive up. Remember, even on this band, you don't want to start messing around here and looking for a peak with the drive down. You'll get crap. You'll get parasitic. So let's now go to transmit, and I'll show you the parasitic here. See that? A little bit of one there, but we don't care about that. We know how to tune this thing now. So we're gonna go to drive up and start down low and take the first peak we get. Then we're gonna dip. Look at our power, and that's a valid 10-meter signal. You can tell it's valid because when you take the drive down, the signal will extinguish and squelch. So with the drive going down, that signal will disappear to nothing. With that said, we can get how much? 100 watts. So I'll take that, and that's on the second band here. The third band, which starts off at 29.1 or 3 or something, can't read it. Let's try that. Start there. And we can just increase this now and get a peak. So transmit, give it some drive. We're just going to advance this advance the tuning now on the grids until we get something here. Nothing yet. Go back and start at left. More drive. Turn it until we get something. Okay, there's our first peak. Get some power out with the plate tuning, and now verify you can take your drive down to nothing. Signal goes away. That's a valid signal. It's a valid 10-meter signal. So we're doing good. We understand the transmitter now. The drive is fixed. We can take the drive down to nothing to test it, and we're getting some pretty good power. 100 watts on 10, I'll take it, okay? Now, let's go all the way up 10 meters as high as we can go. 29.6 is like right about there. Let's see if that'll go. Crank it all the way up. So this thing is fixed, pretty much. I gotta fix the spring in here, make it tighter, but otherwise I think this transmitter is about ready to go. Okay, this is as high as I can go in frequency, way up here. So we're testing extremes now on 10 meters. I would think this would be a little further to the middle. Transmit, drive, turn it up, go for a peak here. Okay, there's a peak, so I'm going a little more clockwise, and I got a broad peak. to get some power. There we go. Okay, that's probably tuned right there. Let's give it a whack and see how much power with full drive. About 90 watts. So I'm really happy with that. I think this transmitter is understood and fixed. I'm not sure it was broken on 10 meters. Might have been just me not tuning it right, and it might have been the bias was off to the final. The bias was low or too high. The bias was too high to the finals, and the bias was all wrong to the IF tube here, so fixed all that. Anyway, I just think I was tuning it wrong, so you really got to start left and then tune it for the first peak and make sure your drive control can extinguish the signal. Okay, so that's that. I had the receiver on 10 meters here. I was listening to the thing, and I can show you how the spot control works. Here's the receiver. We're on 28.2. So that would be the lowest band on 10, which would be this one here. There it goes. I'm on spot. So now I should be able to swoop across that band here, take the spot to full output, and it should swoop right around, what are we on? 27.9, so right around there. Should hit it. There it is. That's what we're talking about. Now, this thing on spot will still let the mic work because you're spotting. So if we go to AM, there it is. Put the mic in. And it should be running now. We are testing on AM. That doesn't sound too good because the drive level to the driver is up too high on the driver. Watch this. Okay, take this level down, make the bias higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Test 1, 2, 3. Now you can hear the AM modulation is sounding somewhat decent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and we can actually then transmit also. Let's see here. Oh, we got to tune this. Okay, yeah, see how the power comes in now. So spot is running the entire driver lineup of tubes. So it does affect spot also. So you can actually pre-tune with the spot function. So everything will tune that way. I think this would tune for a dip. Okay, so let's go on now and try some real power here. Go here and turn this on. Drive level up. We got drive. Let's do this for a peak. There's a peak. And there's the power. Okay, now we're on AM mode and we could turn the drive down. If the drive is down, the AM sounds louder, of course. Take the drive up. Drive up on AM, drive up. It'll start to distort after a while. And 1, 2, 3, there's the distortion, so you gotta take it down. That's pretty bad. Take it down, take it down, take it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's decent right there. So that's a secret on AM. And we're running, as people say, on the AM 25 watts. Yep, right on 25 at a 100 watt radio, so that's where it sounds the best. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There's about 20 watts, 10, 15 watts. A little bit of upward going on. Upward, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So I want to try and talk to the AM guys with this thing. That's kind of why I bought it. Okay, that's my demo. I guess we can try sideband here. Let's go off transmit. Okay, it's in. Okay, we're on lower sideband now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That seems to work. upper sideband, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're on spot mode, and of course if I take spot mode down, it disappears. All the way up, there's the sideband. Alright, well, that concludes my demo. I think this thing's pretty much fixed. I still got to fix the gear lash in the tuning, but otherwise I think the transmitter is well understood and ready for use. I'll put it back in the case and get some help to haul it back up on top of the radio. I still got to take this radio down and check the power supply for bad capacitors. I think there's Maham that comes in it every so often. Okay, well, it's been a long day with this thing. And I got the frequency counter now to help me guide when I'm on frequency. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.